which is crazy because dabbling into kind of that addiction, what fascinates me is the gambler gets such a rush when they lose, even.
I'm really glad you just said that.
Today, we're discussing the gambling addiction, one of those hot button topics that's been talked about on several platforms for many years. And in 2026, we focus more light on it. Let's get into it.
What's the most you ever lost gambling at once?
$8 million.
Okay.
1 day.
How long?
Like 1 day. Like probably like 40 hours.
Yeah.
40 hours straight. I lost like $8 million.
That's not
9 million.
That's not one.
I made myself stop gambling. Like I had Mike Rubin write a letter to every casino and ban me from the casino. You know, because I just do shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't gamble no more.
Okay. And what's it? I didn't know that.
It's 24 hours. It's 24 hours in a day, buddy. Lil Baby's version of a day aside, you can clearly see the addiction takes no prisoners. Whether you're rich or poor, it comes for you all the same.
What causes gambling addiction?
There are many causes to gambling addiction, and there's no one single answer to that. There's everything from my genes to my hormones to my relationships with others to my doubts about myself. So a wide range. And it usually starts off simple and then progresses. So you're changing relationships over the course of time. So for example, just on the relationship level, I go from going out to a casino as a party night with my friends to I'm gambling too much and they don't want to be around it, so I start going alone. Things will evolve even in relationships then because of the changing elements of the progression of the illness.
I have a gambling addiction and I really can't say what caused it. I won a lot of money once, and then your access was made easier by online gambling, and then the addiction takes over. And I feel like that's the issue here. There's not one thing you could point to that causes this behavior, right? But I do have a feeling that past experience do play a part in it, as with many things that we go through in life and the decisions we make.
The lowest lows you can reach as a human is becoming addicted to slot machines. Like you be going in the casino and you see all the people on the slot machines tapping it, like spamming it and then touching the screen like that's gonna help or some shit. And I know you could tie that back to like all sorts of different type of gambling, but just something about sitting there like hunched over, spamming that button is just different.
You know, a lot of us have family members that live for this type of thing, especially the older they get. You see a lot of grandparents hitting those slots, right? Grandma always want to go to the casino. The addiction has a grip on folks, man, no matter the age, whether you're young or old. And someone cracks a joke in the comment section. Why are you talking about my mom, bro? Because we understand this is a widespread issue. It's a lot of parents in there, a lot of grandmothers, a lot of mothers on those slot machines.
You know, gambling is one of those things where, like with alcohol and drugs, you can't do but so much in one outing, right? Before you pass out or, you know, forbid overdose or something like that. But with gambling, you could lose
Everything
in one outing, you know? And that's why they talk about, you know, it being the highest attempted suicide.
Highest rate of suicide ideation.
Yes. Out of
any addiction.
Out of all addictions. So that is definitely insidious, man. That gambling.
It's the most insidious.
Yeah.
And into the comments, I need help. I lost everything. I lost my house, my car, and now my job. I don't know what to do at this point. And the only ways you stop is if you run out of money, right? Or ways to acquire it. It's not going to put you down like a drug to where you have to think things over and reevaluate your life, right? This is about, you know, getting more money to spend. So you're stuck in this continuous search, even when you're down and out, and trying to find ways for you to keep that going. You know, you're selling things off, you're borrowing money. It's a different kind of addiction. I do agree. You know, it's one that will not stop you in your tracks per se. This is something you can continue to put an effort towards if you have the means, right? And people find themselves in all kinds of crazy situations because of this.
What exactly are the signs of a gambling addiction?
It really depends, because anybody that struggles with addiction, there tends to be underlying mental health stuff that's going on at the same time.
Okay.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. That's what I was going to start off right there. So Oftentimes, I mean, I found and I'm not a therapist like you, but I found that a lot of people that have either drug addiction or gambling addiction, it's almost a self-medication. Is that basically how it goes?
Pretty much, yeah. Like, I've never worked with a person that struggles with any form of addiction that doesn't have something else kind of going on underneath. Whether they like to admit it or not, or whether it's conscious at that time or not. Again, it kind of depends whatever that person finds themselves, I guess, falling into is the best way to put it. You know, if a person grew up in a family that gambled from when they were 12 years old and that's all they were seeing, exactly, normalized. Sometimes it's cultural, depending.
Yeah, back to my first point that I made. There's always an underlying issue. There's always a cause to a behavior. And I think if you further look into it, you can kind of start to pinpoint where the issue started. But yeah, I largely believe that, you know, your past history has a lot to do with this, whether it's through your family or your experiences outside of that. It all plays into it, right? You can never easily just say you're just addicted. There's always something that leads up to that.
What the gambling addict does not understand is that the brain chemistry gets altered to the fact that you get addicted to losing instead of winning. Your highs aren't the same when you win compared to those losses. So maybe, yes, you track it, you know, for a few weeks, you're up and down very slightly, but there's something in your brain. It's a mental disorder that the gambling addict has and will never, ever be able to let go, is the chase. The chase always finds itself back within the cycle. I had someone reach out to me in my DMs explaining that he just kept gambling and gambling. He started with $10. He you know, it got up to $5,000, then $9,000, then $12,000. And within the next day, the $12,000 was gone. Because the winning isn't enough when you're a gambling addict, bro. Your brain gets addicted to losing because you're not getting that same high. It's objective, it's proven.
There's something I've heard a few times now that a lot of folks realize they're going to lose money, but they're having fun. That's one of the things they tell you. Oh, yeah, I know I'm going to lose, but, you know, I'm just going to have fun. You know, if you couple that with the fact that I keep hearing how addicts get a rush off of actually losing the money, and you start to get a clear picture of what the problem is. I mean, these people are addicted to the rush. You just get a rush off of almost winning and then losing the money. I don't know how you could treat that. But this is what I've heard most of the times when I talk about this. You know, when I tell people how I just see it as just taking my hard-earned money and just throwing it down the drain. You know, they respond with, well, we're just having fun. We know we're going to lose. It sounds a little twisted, but, you know, this is a sentiment out there.
This could be the saddest gambling addiction video on the entire internet.
Oh my gosh, guys. This is literally crazy. What the hell?
The gambling industry keeps getting bigger every single year, and it takes advantage of people just like this woman, who are literally leaving their family at home, seemingly unattended, to just spin slots at the casino. What do you think? Is gambling getting out of control? Let me know in the comments.
I don't care what excuse you have. If you're to this point right here, where you're doing this just to hit the slots, you do have a gambling problem. To where you have to watch your child via camera because you had to hit the slots. You had to go gamble. You need help. He has a very big point. You know, this is one of those things that you look back at and realize that that's not normal behavior. It seems like, you know what I'm saying, you're doing everything you can to make it to those slots by any means. Of course, without the full context, somebody tried to defend her. She may have had a babysitter and keeping an eye out as well. Probably a new mom. You have no idea. To which she responds, but what if that's not the case?
Why do people keep betting even after losing everything?
People keep betting after they lose it all because they believe they can win it all back, and they continue to chase their losses, when in reality, you know, you can never win it all back, and it just becomes more and more devastating.
Say along the way they do get a big win, like why doesn't that solve the problem for them?
Because they continue to go back. And if they could just win once and walk away, then it wouldn't be a gambling addiction. It would just be behavior. And, you know, you win big and you walk away and you put your money in the bank or you do something productive with it. But that's not what happens when it becomes an addiction.
And that's the loop. You keep going back because you think you're going to win this time, right? Because maybe you won a little bit before. You know, you're just thinking, just this one more time. I'm going to get it this time, man. Because you always feel like you're going to win it back. And that's what they're counting on. You being your own worst enemy. And somebody in the comments put it simply, every win is a loan against future losses.
A lot of people still don't actually believe gambling addiction is real. And honestly, I understand why. Because with drugs and alcohol, you're physically ingesting or injecting something into your body. With gambling, you're just pressing buttons on a screen or pulling a slot machine, sitting at the blackjack table, whatever the case may be. So from the outside, it looks like someone who just can't manage their money. But ask yourself this, if someone stops eating because every dollar they have is going towards drugs, people aren't sitting there saying have more self-control. They're saying to just stop, or they recognize it's an addiction. If someone spends their paycheck on alcohol instead of paying rent, nobody's saying they're just bad with money. They understand it's a drinking problem. So why is it different when someone skips meals, borrows money, lies to their family, or empties their bank account because every spare dollar is going into the sports book? The addiction is the exact same. The lure of it is just different. People picture gambling as entertainment. They don't picture someone betting on Russian ping pong at 2 a.m. or making their 5th deposit of the night or praying for one win because they genuinely believe that it'll fix everything and they'll be able to pay their rent. You might not be putting a substance into your body, but gambling can hijack your brain just the same way. It changes how you think, how you make your decisions, what you're willing to sacrifice, and that's what addiction is. You're continuing despite the consequences. And if you still don't believe gambling addiction is real, Google it. Read about the research showing that roughly 1 in 5 people with a gambling disorder have attempted unaliving. People don't attempt unaliving because they lost a few bets. They attempt it because the addiction convinces them that they're trapped. Whether it's drugs, alcohol, gambling, the prison is remarkably similar. The only difference, one of them gets advertised every Sunday between touchdowns.
Somebody down in the comments added, as a person in recovery after 26, oh, it's very real. Multiple jail visits, escorting. I go to GA now. It's wild how it's messed up my life and many others. And that goes back to the point I previously made. This is the excuse that you get when you try to reason with people. You try to tell them, aren't you afraid you're just losing money and throwing your money away? The easiest rebuttal to that is we're having fun, not about losing. And I think that's just the way to cope with the situation, right? Because you understand that you're losing money. So the best way to cope with that situation is to tell yourself, it's all for the moment.
Gambling is the only addiction that tells you that the way out is to continue to gamble more. A lot of people, once they cross that line into, compulsive gambling or disordered gambling, there's no going back. That at this point, the disease progressed so much that all their time is consumed about either coming up with ways to make money, get money, or to gamble. They're not accountable. They're not responsible to the family, their friends. Their whole world became all about gambling.
Gambling is only a problem when you lose. Otherwise, it's fun and productive. And someone else added, 14,000 down and almost ruined my life. You are speaking the truth. Glad I was able to stop. The worst thing that happened to me was winning the jackpot twice in a day. I mean, we've seen a lot of this play out in real life and in movies, right? You dig yourself a hole, you make it deeper, trying to get out, right? You borrow money from shady individuals. You lose that money. Now you owe those folks. Now you're scrambling to get more money to win so you could pay them back with money that you probably borrowed from someone else. And meanwhile, you're digging a hole you're never going to get out of because you're never really going to win that money back because the house always takes it, right? That's the saying. That's why we've heard the stories of folks getting buried out in the desert because they owe money, right? They got themselves in a hole.
Been a lot of a gambler.
You like to gamble?
Yeah, had to stop it.
Hold on, so you gamble? You like playing cards or you betting sports?
Betting on sports, betting online. I had to get that, because that's the worst addiction that a man can get addicted to is gambling.
Why you say that?
Because you believe you can beat them and you can't. You will never outwork the act like this AI.
Yeah.
You online betting every day. I woke up and lost $300,000-$400,000 gambling.
You lost $300,000-$400,000?
I probably lost $500,000, probably $500,000 gambling, thinking I could beat the system. And I'm telling my people every day, and I'm gonna get them today. I'm gonna get them today.
What you betting on football?
I'm betting on football. I'm betting on basketball, but I'm playing blackjack online.
Yeah.
They whooped me down. They put a belt to
Oh, yeah.
They put a belt to my ass.
Yeah, hey, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, man. That online blackjack.
Yeah. I almost had to go get a job. It was crazy.
Online blackjack, online poker.
You not gonna never beat them.
No.
You can't beat them.
No.
And I was telling myself every day, Shannon, I'm gonna get them today. I'm gonna get them today. Look, I'm down 500,000.
Damn.
500 grand, for real. Listen, young people, leave that gambling alone.
You don't gamble no more, do you, huh?
Oh, no, I'm done with it. I ain't got nothing else to give them. I ain't got nothing else to give them, Shannon. Hell no.
They got you?
They got me. They whooped me. They whooped my feet. They whooped my feet, boy.
Boy, you know that bad. They beat they whip your feet now.
They whooped my feet. You hear me? I don't want to see that belt no more.
Yeah, the house always wins. AI or not, bro. The house always wins. This is what you have to know when you're gambling your money away. You're probably going to lose all of it. The first time I went to the casino, that thought was always in the back of my mind. It set me on this path to where I never wanted to gamble any of my money. I always saw it as just opening a trash can and throwing the money in there. But that's just how I think, right? That's just my mental process. I'm not approaching it from the I'm just having fun side of things, right? So I say that to say this, as long as you understand what you're getting yourself into, by all means, it's your life, right? Of course, down in the comments, online blackjack is crazy. I don't even trust the CPU dealers in GTA.
I just lost $700 gambling. I went 2 months without gambling, and then I finally fucking caved in, bro, last week, and I've been losing my ass off. I've been gambling every single fucking day, 24/7 this past week. I don't know what else to say, man, other than, like, I'm sorry, and I'm fucking embarrassed, obviously, but I'm not making this video for, like, fucking sympathy or anything, bro. I'm just strictly giving you guys an update, because it's been a fucking week. I just got done gambling. I gambled yesterday. I gambled the day before. Last night I was gambling on fucking, like, Chinese table tennis. Placed a $200 bet, woke up, it cracked for like $600. Like, once I slipped up once, bro, it was all downhill from there. So, I mean, I guess tomorrow's a new day. I'll try to go another fucking 2-3 months maybe. I'm just a fucking idiot, bro. The 2 months without gambling too, it wasn't a complete waste. Like, I actually learned a lot about myself and shit, and I got myself out of a little bit of fucking debt. Like, I made a ton of progress. And I could have instantly just fucking ruined it all between this past week of me betting. I still have, like, credit cards paid off and all that shit. So, like, all my progress isn't completely wiped out. But if I don't fucking quit now, bro, like, I could just be back to square one where I was 3-4 months ago. Literally tonight. Like, that's how quick this shit can fucking happen.
Down in the comments, I get it. I lost $1,800 today, if that helps. This, like any other addiction, is a lifelong battle, I feel. You can get over the hump at a certain point in your life, but you have to stay at it, right? You have to work hard to make sure you don't find yourself back there. You know, just like drugs, alcohol, and anything else that's highly addictive, it never stops there. You have to always stay on top of it. Be vigilant, right? You don't beat it one time and then you're done. It's always going to be a demon on your shoulder looking to rear its ugly head every time. Once you lose focus, it's there to try to pull you back in. So once you realize that you have this type of problem, you have to know that you have to work even harder, you know, to keep yourself from going backwards once you start to find your way up out of it. Obviously, I'm not the best person to talk about it. I've never had this addiction. You know, I've only watched it from the outside looking in, right? But the stories are all similar, man. And what I've noticed is, you know, you can get yourself up out of it if you really want to, but you also have to do the work to keep yourself from going backwards. And that's with every fight that's worth fighting, right? That's what it all comes down to. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to you if you want to stop this, right? You have to want this for yourself. This is another one of those topics. I've heard about it so many times throughout the years, and I just thought it was just my turn to shed a light on it. You all let me know what you think. This has been it for this one. Until the next one.